I'm Austin Petersen, and welcome to the Freedom Report, broadcasting from the Manhattan skyline. Why is it that liberals think that humanitarian interventions in Africa are okay, but conservative interventions in Iraq and Afghanistan were war crimes? Why is it that conservatives who support occupying Afghanistan oppose bombing Libya and Bosnia? Should President Barack Obama be preparing to topple African leader Joseph Kony in Uganda? Author Isabel Patterson once wrote, "Most of the harm in the world is done by good people, and not by accident, lapse, or omission. It is a result of their deliberate actions, long persevered in, which they hold to be motivated by high ideals towards virtuous ends." So does that mean that people who are well-meaning often do more damage in the long run, even if they're trying to solve the problems that they're rallying against? Take, for example, the recent viral video campaign by a film group called Invisible Children that was produced to raise awareness about a certain African warlord named Joseph Kony. Kony is a bad man. He's a leader of the Lord's Resistance Army, which has been known to rape and murder children in the sub-Saharan nation of Uganda. Joseph Kony's crimes are terrible and deserve retribution. But what do the filmmakers of this video have in mind for us to be able to do something about it? Is it just to buy a $30 bracelet or join the other 15 million people who have watched the video to raise awareness? Or is it just to make a Facebook post about it? Do they want us to just change the world by just spreading awareness? I mean, that would be nice, but that's not all these liberal activists have in mind. In a lengthy March 7th letter, Invisible Children applauded President Obama for the military measures that he's taken, sending in, quote, peacekeepers, whose mission is thought to be capturing or killing of Kony. Of course, we all remember how well the initial peacekeepers sent into Vietnam worked out. But these liberals go even further in advancing their Bush-style warmongering, calling for Obama to expand his military efforts there and increase funding for intelligence, mobility, and other support operations. Members of the liberal charity have also photographed themselves toting rifles and posing with the Sudan People's Liberation Army, whose own crimes include attacking and looting civilian homes and businesses. And isn't it just delicious to see liberals who for years have railed against neo-colonialism now finding themselves the leaders of a movement that is mostly made up of whites who are basically claiming that only the forces of Western imperialism can save Africans from themselves? Sorry, Africans, American liberals just don't trust you to take care of your own business. But don't worry, imperialism is only racist if conservatives do it. The filmmakers might at least have done some fact-checking before unleashing the irrational exuberance of liberal activists. It's reported that Joseph Kony fled Uganda 6 years ago, and he's believed to be dead. Maybe if they have done a little research, they would have learned that the Lord's Resistance Army hasn't been operating in Uganda since 2006. But don't let those facts stop you from buying a $30 bracelet to raise awareness. And speaking of awareness, did you know that the charity Invisible Children raised $9.4 million? And were you aware that only $2 million of it was actually spent helping people on the ground? For that price, these humanitarians could afford a guillotine made out of solid gold. Every human being of conscience has the innate desire to do something when they perceive injustice around the world. But how can we solve the problems of genocide, homicidal dictators, and international terrorism that costs the least and expends the least amount of lives? Funny enough, the answers can be found in the U.S. Constitution. The founders of the United States came up with a great way to deal with lunatics like Joseph Kony and Osama bin Laden. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution grants Congress the authority to establish letters of marque and reprisal and to make rules regarding capture of terrorists and pirates. Basically, hiring mercenaries and putting a price on the head of the belligerent. Not only is this the most cost-effective way to deal with terrorists, but it's also the most humanitarian. You see, mercenaries are held liable for any collateral damage that occurs. Not so for invading troops. Mercenaries are lawful and must kill only those named in the letters. Congressman Ron Paul offered similar legislation after the attacks on 9/11, but he was ignored in favor of expensive and bloody wars of occupation. I urge my viewers to research these topics and to approach the Stop Kony 2012 campaign with a healthy dose of skepticism. We all want to do good in the world and raise awareness of evil so that we can fight it. But I think we do well to approach these problems with a more sober analysis. And remember, if you see a humanitarian with a cause, first check the facts, and then look over their shoulder. And if you see a guillotine, run away. I'm Austin Petersen. This is the Freedom Report. Please subscribe to my channel for more reports just like this one.